Well, thanks a lot for the invitation. I thought of speaking to you in Greek, but I guess they would sign Greek to you. So, since we are in France, I'll speak in French. Je vous raconterai une histoire.
I'm going to tell you a story about the famous European democracy. In the January elections, the Greek government had to face a coup d'etat. And the attempt now is to overthrow the new government and to replace it with a government that is docile to the creditors, and at the same time to discourage the voters, the so-called dreamers in Spain and other countries in Europe who still believe in the possibility of governments opposed to the German dogma of austerity. In Athens, we are now trying to maintain the government, but hope is being killed. The situation reminds one of Chile in the early 1970s when President Richard Nixon tried to overthrow Salvador Allende to avoid a situation which would go to other locations in the American backyard. So he gave the order, make the economy scream. And that was one of the orders given to the CIA by the president, US president, to just before the tanks of the General Pinochet began acting. In 1970, the US banks suspended all credits to Chilean banks. And what happened to Greece 4 years ago? 1 week after the elections, Mr. Draghi, president of the European Central Bank, cut off, without the slightest justification, the main source of financing of Greek banks. And he replaced it with the emergency liquidity assistance, a facility far more expensive and which has to be renewed on a weekly basis. Like a sort of Damocles. It's like they will decide every week whether or not to continue the refinancing. So it's really a sort of a Damocles hanging above the heads of the Greek leaders. But after this sword of Damocles, there are also drugs. Over 90% of the money shipped to us by our creditors goes directly back to them, sometimes even the next day. So it can be used for the reimbursement of the debt. But since the non-reimbursement of the debt is tantamount to a credit event, that is a kind of bankruptcy, the unblocking of the doses is a very powerful weapon in the hands of the creditors. And it's an instrument of permanent political blackmail. During this undeclared war, other economic weapons are also deployed. One of them is the rating agencies. This is a modern coup d'etat, as one says in English, not with the tanks, but with the banks. The international media have also been instrumental in attacking the government, in evoking the ghost of a Grexit, Greece leaving the Eurozone, in order to provoke panic.
On retrouve
Leading the offensive is the Bild Zeitung in Germany,
en 2010
which back in 2010 already had started running sensational headlines
et la corruption
exposing the alleged laziness and corruption of the Greeks, who were called on to sell their islands in order to reduce the national debt. The same Bild
récemment
recently published a pseudo-reported report on a bank run in Athens.
n'hésitant pas à falsifier, à utiliser une photo
Even using falsified pictures
pour toucher la retraite. Alors cette photo a utilisé comme le prêt
of people trying to cash in on their pensions.
de banque run.
And this contributed to a bank run.
Ça c'est les photos.
That's a
Il y a
picture.
une photo où il y a une photo banale où les
It's a banal picture
des retraités font la queue devant une banque.
where the retired people are queuing up in front of the bank to withdraw their pension. And this was used on the first page of the Bild Zeitung
Attaque
to get to say that people are attacking the bank
pour prendre l'argent.
to take the money for themselves.
Un banque run. Alors c'était comme ça.
And the whole thing was like that.
En plus, la plupart des médias internationaux ont diffusé la théorie du sauvetage de la Grèce
Most of the international media spread the lie
par les
about
prêts
the rescue
accordés en
of,
Grèce
of Greece.
10. C'était les banques françaises et
But in
allemandes
reality,
qui ont été
it was the German and the French banks which were rescued.
ces prêts au début avaient un taux d'intérêt très élevé.
France made a lot of money, and other banks made a lot of money with a very high interest rate
International et allemand comme une aide gratuite offerte
as a free aid
corrompus.
and presented in the media as a free help toward the laziness and the
Voyons
corrupted.
ce qui se passe en réalité.
What's really going on?
Libération. Depuis 2010, la
According to the
France
French
a peut-être gagné
Daily Liberation,
jusqu'à 2 milliards
since 2010,
d'euros
France made up to 2 billion euros of profits
grâce
from interest
aux
alone.
prêts donnés en Grèce qui
Here you see the
est présenté
Libération, the newspaper.
à l'opinion publique française et plutôt allemande et internationale comme une aide comme ça gratuite. Même l'Autriche,
Even Austria,
qui a
which
une
participated only very modestly
très modeste
to the rescuing of Greece,
au prêt accordé à la Grèce, a annoncé
even Austria
il y a une semaine
announced
que le gouvernement
some weeks ago
a
that
gagné
it won 100 million euros from interest rates up till now
par les intérêts
by cashing in the interest paying by Greece.
créanciers de la nouvelle de cette prêt. Et alors en Allemagne,
Hence,
personne
The German public
ne
opinion
connaît pas la vérité.
pleads
Il y a
innocence.
quelques émissions
Only
humoristiques
some
qui disent la vérité,
humoristical TV
mais
shows
pas des
are
émissions
allowed and are
Les
able
émissions
to
sérieuses,
say
les
the truth,
médias, les grands médias
on
racontent
this issue,
tout à fait une
while
histoire.
in the larger media it's out of order to
On nous
say such
accuse
things.
aussi de ne pas
They
vouloir
also
faire
accuse
passer
us
des
for
réformes.
not willing to adopt reforms.
Mais
But in
c'est nous
reality,
qui, plus que
it is
personne,
us which
qui
more
voulons
than
faire
anybody
passer des
else,
réformes,
we
mais
want
des
to
vraies
have
réformes,
reforms,
pas de chaos.
real reforms, not
Parce que
chaos.
si on exige de la Grèce,
What is demanded from
c'est
Greece
l'application
is
de
the
la
application of the
néolibérale,
neoliberal recipe.
et dans cette revendication,
Each one
chacun
has his own obsessions
de la Troïka
in the
a sa
Troika.
propre obsession.
The ideologues
Les idéologues
of the IMF,
des fonds monétaires internationaux
they want more deregulation
demandent
of the
la
labor markets.
dérégulation du marché du travail.
And they want to have the right
Ainsi
for
que
mass
la
layoffs,
légalisation des licenciements en masse
which is something they have promised to the
aux
Greek
oligarques
oligarchs
grecs,
who own the banks.
propriétaires de banques. La Commission
The
européenne,
EU Commission, this
autrement dit
Berlin,
Berlin,
calls
réclame
for the
la
pursuit
poursuite
of
des
privatizations
privatisations
which are
qui
susceptible
intéressent les
to
entreprises
create a good deal of shopping for the German firms, and these are the lowest cost. Part of the scandal
je vous donne un exemple
of these
seulement.
privatizations.
Est-ce qu'on peut voir ici le diapo, s'il vous plaît?
If we can have the next slide.
C'est une vente effectuée.
It was a sale by the by the Greek state.
C'est l'autre diapo, s'il vous plaît. Alors, il s'agit de 28 bâtiments.
This was an issue of 28 buildings belonging to the Greek state, which are still used today, but they have been sold under the pressure of the Troika. Today, the Greek state is still using these buildings for governmental functions. In the next 20 years, Athens will have to pay 600 million euros of rent for these buildings, nearly 3 times as much as money that they got from selling these buildings, which was money immediately sent back to the creditors. So it looks insane.
Alors, qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant?
What's going on now? The Greek government maintains popularity despite panic and despite all the chaos created. The Greek government remains very popular.
On a ajourné beaucoup de promesses électorales afin de trouver un compromis.
The government gave in on certain election promises, but without doing a compromise on the essentials policy. We accepted the frameworks of the Eurozone, of the treaties signed by the preceding governments, but the problem which came up, so the final question remains a political question. Do elections really have any meaning? If a country, while respecting the core of its commitments, has no right to modify the policy of the preceding government?
Sinon, pourquoi alors faire des élections?
Why organize elections if you don't have any right to change anything?
Vous tous connaissez, coûte cher. Il faut préparer, il y a la campagne avant les élections, il y a
big campaigns, you need elections.
Les urnes, tout ça. Pourquoi alors
let's go back to the voting ballots and so on.
Si les élections,
but this doesn't mean anything.
Rien changer.
If the outcome of the vote means you can't change anything.
Alors,
so,
ce que les créateurs veulent à ce moment-là, le gouvernement athénien, évidemment, se trouve
the government of Athens
abandonné
is now abandoned
par les forces
by the forces while it was expecting support, for example, from the French government.
Alors on ne peut pas à ce moment-là revendiquer la solution du problème majeur.
So we cannot claim and continue fighting for the main problem, which is the problem of the debt. That is the issue to organize. As has been done in 1953, the London Conference to relieve Germany of most of its war reparations, opening the gate from making of Germany the economic miracle. This proposition has been drowned down in an ocean of threats and ultimatums. The creditors want to put Mr. Tsipras against the wall with only 2 choices. Financial strangulation, if he continues to stick to the program of the Troika, or betray completely his promises and fall back and fall for lack of support from his voters. That is the coup d'etat which we have to face.
Les seules choses que je peux vous assurer,
the only thing I can guarantee is that we will resist.
on ne va pas être soumis.
We will not be subjugated.
Je termine avec un mot. Je ne sais pas
want
ce
to
qui va se
conclude.
passer à la fin.
I
Mais
don't know
un
what's
excellent
going to
article
come out
récent de
in the end.
Serge Halimi, Paris dans le monde diplomatique,
There's an article in
nous a fait
Serge
penser
Halimi
à
in the Monde
l'avenir et la
Diplomatique
dimension historique
on the
de la
historical
bataille.
dimension of this fight.
Elle écrivait alors Halimi
And
à propos de la Grèce.
Halimi wrote the following on Greece.
Est-ce qu'on peut avoir, oui, on a déjà l'avenir, à propos de la Grèce, il écrivait, l'avenir fait penser à ce qu'écrivait la
He said,
philosophe
the future reminds us of what wrote philosopher Simone Weil about the labor strikes in June 1936 in France, where she wrote, nobody knows how things will turn, but no fear annuls our the joy to see those who by definition curb their heads and rise now and dress now.
à leur maître qu'il existe.
At last they made it clear to their masters that they existed. Whatever will happen from now, we will have obtained this. Finally, for the first time or forever, souvenirs other than silence, constraints and submission will float around these heavy machines. The fight of the Greeks is universal. It ain't any longer sufficient that our wishes accompany them. The solidarity that it merits has to be expressed by deeds. Time is running out. Thank you.